Good morning, everybody. I hope you can hear me. A thumbs up if you can hear my speaking. Yes? Okay, great. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to see everyone and to be sharing this morning with each of you. And the first piece I'm going to play is a piece called Varsha, which is the Hindustani word for rain. It's based on Mahar ragas and is by an Indian American composer, Reena Esmail. And she is around 40 years old. This piece was commissioned by the Juilliard School, and they were doing a Juilliard 415 had a project involving Haydn's Seven Last Words, where they would do one of the pieces from Haydn's piece and then a newly commissioned work, so a kind of past-present project. And this was Reena's contribution to that. So I hope you like it. Varsha is the word for rain, so that pre-service discussion about all the moisture and rain seems pretty appropriate, I think. I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you, Nancy. That was beautiful. Again, hello, everybody, and welcome to our Sunday service. My name is Kathleen. I'm your platform assistant today, and we're very fortunate to have Rev Geo Downer coming to us from Hawaii, where it's about 5 o'clock in the morning. And he is going to give us a special message on Beatitude and the good news of wholeness. I'm looking forward to that. And then we also have, as you just heard, Nancy Snider, who's a cellist and does an excellent job. I mean, if you listen to that prelude, that was very deep, it felt to me, and very, very penetrating. So thank you very much. And I'm looking very much forward to hearing your music. There are 2 pieces today. For our opening prayer today, I picked a section from Proverbs. I want to deal with the divine feminine wisdom, Sophia speaking. And this is from chapter 8, lines 22 to 31. The Lord created me at the beginning of his work, the first of his acts of long ago. Ages ago, I was set up, at the first, before the beginning of the earth. When there were no depths, I was brought forth. When there were no springs abounding with water. Before the mountains had been shaped, before the hills, I was brought forth. When he had not yet made earth and fields, or the world's first bits of soil. When he established the heavens, I was there. When he drew a circle on the face of the deep. When he made firm the skies above. When he established the fountains of the deep. When he assigned to the sea its limit, so that the waters might not transgress his command. When he marked out the foundations of the earth, then I was beside him, like a master worker. And I was daily his delight, rejoicing before him always, rejoicing in his inhabited world, and delighting in the human race. Amen.
Aloha and good morning. You know, it's interesting to note that generally when people greet one another, they address each other in a way such as they ask the question, how are you? It's quite common. It's an interesting thing. And more often than not, what people are asking is, how might I find a way to connect with you? How might I know you a little better and discover where you are, who you're being today? When I discovered unity, I was at a particularly low point in my life. And how are you was generally not a question that I wanted to answer. What I discovered was I felt at many times as though I was a victim of the world. What shifted in me was a minister who suggested that perhaps I might consider to recognize how in so many different ways in my life I am blessed. Generally, if you ask me that question, how are you? I'll answer, I am blessed. Now that can be frustrating at times because sometimes people don't quite get it, but you have to listen carefully as to the intonation and the manner in which I make a statement of that as such as that. Sometimes I am blessed. Sometimes I am blessed. And sometimes I am blessed. So you see, the approach that we can take in our lives has much to do with embracing and allowing and accepting wherever we are. It isn't necessarily the statement of the words that we say, but the energy that runs the words that we declare. What I discovered in unity is that there is a shift that takes place within me that can bring me into a full awareness of how the divine is expressing in my life. The divine is expressing as me, through me. It brings me an attitude of power, not power over, but power with the universe, power with what's going on in my life. I'd like to invite you today that in the event that anyone might ask you, how are you, that you consider the possibility of responding to them by saying, I am blessed. And I'm going to trust that you're going to be blessed in these next few moments when I invite you to come with me to the beach right here in Kailua. I'm going to ask that you consider joining me in spending some time over the ocean, this powerful body of water that seems to be separating us right now. There's also mountains and plains, vast expanses all over this planet. But in truth, we recognize that we are one. We are in unity with one another. This morning, I'm inviting you on a bit of a journey with me through what is known as the Beatitudes. Now, what's interesting about Christian teaching and what's interesting about Christianity in general is that it has taken on the appearance of a rule-following system. Most of us have been introduced to Christianity based on what some people have understood it to be, and in many ways, it can be an imposing and difficult system. But this morning, I'd like to invite you in a sense of freedom, in a sense of connection, and in a sense of wonder of what these teachings that were conveyed by a master teacher, an itinerant teacher from 2,000 years ago, who actually turned the entire world, and for that matter, time itself, on its ear. The teachings of Jesus have taken on many different forms and shapes and guises. there have been many people who have experienced a bit of harm from what has been described as Christianity. Although that has been the experience of so many people, for me, discovering unity and finding a deeper understanding of what these spiritual teachings can convey in my life, how it's transformational, that has become a manner in which I experience greater freedom and healing. I'd like to invite you not only to the beach, not only to a new idea and recognizing that you are blessed, but I'd also like to invite you in an experience of healing in whatever way you might have experienced a challenge around Christianity. These teachings are magnificent and incredibly beautiful if we examine them, if we explore them and recognize what it is that they were intended to be. Many people throughout history have described that the Beatitudes are the essential teachings of Jesus. They come down as the necessary ways of conveying what his teachings were intended to be. There's a man who lived at the beginning of the 20th century. His name is Emmett Fox. At one time, he was about to become a unity minister, and through a number of different conversations with Charles Fillmore and Myrtle Fillmore, my understanding is that he made a decision that he was doing just fine where he was. He had a huge church in New York City, and he was a book writer, a significant teacher for New Thought. Emmett Fox once wrote that the Beatitudes are actually a prose poem in 8 verses, which is complete in itself, and it constitutes what is practically a general summary of the whole Christian teaching. These whole Christian teachings that are contained in the Beatitudes, when they were likely spoken 2,000 years ago, it was probably unlikely that it was actually done in one sermon. It was probably a collection and a collaboration and connection of statements that had been declared by Jesus, but a number of people wrote down, that they memorized. And then eventually, after many, many years, it was written down. I'd like to address some of those teachings in particular, the ones that are just the first element that probably shocked and surprised and amazed many people. Blessed are the poor in spirit. Blessed are they that mourn. Blessed are the meek. Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness. Blessed are the merciful. Blessed are the pure in heart. Now, you can read the rest of these, and the point of me conveying these is that more than likely when you first read it, when you're first taking it in, you're thinking, what? That doesn't sound right. That doesn't make sense. But I believe that what Jesus was intending to convey, that no matter what takes place in our lives, it's an opportunity for us to be blessed, to discover the good that is present in every circumstance, in every situation. This morning, I recognize how incredibly blessed I am and how incredibly blessed I have been in that I have some life experiences that have been significant. One of them is that I had the opportunity at Unity Village to experience an education and transformation with your resident licensed Unity teacher, Kaywood Black. Kaywood and I spent a journey through leadership development at Unity Village, and we were introduced to a number of different concepts and ideas about the Bible that still resonate with me today, that still bring me an immense amount of joy. When Kaywood and I were sharing time together, it was an exciting experience to have a whole new viewpoint of what these scriptures could mean and do mean for me. And he is the pathway by which I've been invited to join with you this morning. So in many ways, once again, I am blessed. I'm delighted to be here at 5:29 a.m. Someone asked me, are you really going to stay up all day? I said, no, I'm more than likely going to take a nap before I go to church this morning. So you see, I am blessed in so many ways. We all are when we recognize the freedom that we have today. When I was doing leadership development, I had the opportunity to return to my home church at Unity Church of Hawaii, and I also was offered a position at Unity Windward, where I'm serving presently right now. When I came back from leadership development, I had a gentleman who was in the congregation who came to me and said, let's meet for coffee. I have some things I really need to discuss with you. He wanted to let me know that he wanted for me to have a focus on the Bible because many people in the congregation had an experience with the Bible, and he wanted to be sure that that's what my intention was going to be. I thanked him for his time. I enjoyed the experience of coffee with him. I let him know that the Bible was something that was transformative in my life, and it was something that I intended to teach from occasionally. 2 weeks after I had the experience with coffee with him, I had a lovely lady invite me to coffee with her. She wanted to sit me down and let me know that there was just too much Bible in my sermons. When I was sharing a spiritual message, that I just referred to the Bible way too much. I found this a rather interesting experience. I considered it to be a healing experience for the both of them, and I definitely considered it a healing experience for myself. No matter what sort of damage or difficulty you may experience with Scripture, I'm going to invite you to consider having a new idea and to recognize that in your immense divine power, you are blessed. No matter what challenge you may have faced with understanding Scripture and your way of going about your life, I'm going to invite you to consider how you can see these blessings in a whole new light. Jesus, 2,000 years ago, as I said, turned the whole world on its ear and actually invited people in an experience of transformation. His message, according to Unity, and in my experience, is an experience of transformation, not just simply a transaction of how I have to do this in order to get the good things back. The transformation takes place within me because I'm willing and free to do this. I'm willing and able to skip along the beach and have a whole new way and an experience of life. These teachings from thousands of years ago are ways that we can transform the way that we go about our lives today. Over the course of the last 2.5 years, many of you have experienced a significant shift in the manner in which you gather together in spiritual community. As a matter of fact, you probably mourned the way that you once did it. You felt poor in spirit, and you also felt meek. I bet there were some of you who felt a hunger and a thirst for righteousness. Yet right here, right now, Unity Center of DC is blessed. You've had an experience of transformation. You've made a decision that rather than meeting in a specific physical location, you're meeting in the Zoomiverse. That's what I like to call it. So you see, you are blessed in the manner in which you have responded to life. This is more than just simply lip service. This is the way that we go about our lives to persist in whatever may be showing up. It's likely that over the course of the last 2 years, there are experiences of mourning of a way of life that you previously had. However, as we continue to adapt, we continue to transform ourselves and we transform the world around us. This is the divine energy that you have. It inhabits you. This is the way that we can go about our lives in order to be humble to what's showing up. This humility that we experience is the manner in which we can be teachable. You see, that divine energy is our willingness to be educated by our life experience itself. Eric Butterworth spoke to this transformation when he once said that the old order taught men what to do, but Jesus showed them what to be, how to think. Thus, the outline of his ideals is actually a series of attitudes of being, states of mind. The Beatitudes are not a rule book that you have to mourn or that you have to be pure in spirit or poor in spirit. It is a manner of how you can respond. It's the way that you can be in your life. It's an embracing and an acceptance and an allowing of the entirety of life. Rather than pushing life away, the Beatitudes call us to embrace and love all that is. I hope that these teachings can give you an opportunity to deepen your experience, to deepen the way that you can recognize today that you are blessed. Paul John Roach is a Unity minister who wrote a brand new book that has taken me by fire. It has sparked me so that on Saturdays I'm gathering with a number of people from all over the world to look at teachings of unity and world religions. He's a retired Unity minister who used to serve at Unity of Fort Worth. Paul John Roach speaks to the Beatitudes and their transformational power when he says, unity does not focus on human suffering and pain, but rather on possibility and joy. Suffering is real. Life is difficult, but it is not the basis of our philosophy of life. Now, I'm going to ask you to consider that perhaps life is difficult is something that is a place of opportunity. And please don't use that as what you might consider to be an affirmation. Life is difficult is the manner in which we can recognize our transformational power. It's not just something so that we can stop and limit ourselves. It's a recognition that sometimes we are challenged in order to transform our lives and transform the world. Emmett Fox also once wrote that righteousness means in the Bible not merely right conduct, but right thinking on all subjects in every department of life. In what way are you engaged in right thinking today? Are you recognizing where you're blessed? Sometimes as human beings, we have a genetic propensity to focus on what's wrong because that's the manner in which many of us have survived. In this amazing universe that we live, we can instead focus on the very things that are good all around us, the very things that are good within us, the very things that are bringing us life everlasting, the very things that are a recognition of life eternal. So I'm going to invite you to consider right thinking today, to consider how this explanation and this new way of being in life has been shared and taught for thousands of years. These teachings are what have been portrayed or understood as the gospel. This morning, I'd like to share with you what I consider to be the gospel truth, which is very important for me in my life. The gospel was something that I grew up around, and many people think that it's confined to the four acceptable stories about the life of Jesus. Many of us have been told about the Gospels as the Gospel of Thomas or the Gospel of Mary, the ones that were not accepted by the Roman powers that be a few thousand years ago. Growing up, I would oftentimes hear the phrase, "It's the gospel truth," which meant that it was non-negotiable. What I'd like to consider today is that the gospel has its root in what was conveyed to describe the good news. Today, the gospel truth is that you are the good news. Each of us has an opportunity to focus our attention on not what is wrong, but focus our attention instead on the power that we have in order to transform what is right, what is good, what is life-affirming and life-giving. Rather than pushing our lives away, today I invite you in your infinite divine power to embrace all of life, to truly love and accept and expect in wonder how you are blessed. What we hold in our mind produces after its kind. I believe that what Jesus was inviting us into is a recognition of how we are always blessed. So no matter where you may be in the course of a day, when someone asks you, "How are you?" I challenge you, I encourage you to consider the possibility that you are blessed. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to remind myself and to perhaps spark all of us to remember that we are blessed. Many blessings to you, and aloha. Right where you are, breathe deeply and allow the body that seems to contain you to relax. You know that you are so much more than the body. And this moment, we allow the vehicle that has brought us into this here and now to be in a place of acceptance and allowance, to be without guard, without shield, and open to transforming power. In this relaxation moment, I invite you to open your mind to know the blessings that are taking place in life, to remember and recognize all the many blessings that you have experienced from others. Direct your attention right now to know how you are a blessing to so many in this world. You've offered encouragement. You've extended in love. You've taught with kindness. You are a blessing. Let's remember our whole life experience is indeed a blessing. I'll ask that you declare silently within you and allow in this relaxed state to know that you are blessed. Affirm within yourself, I am blessed. Let's declare this and allow it to be right now, right where you are, in sacred and holy silence. as we have set aside this brief time to be with the breath, to be in the quiet, we realize that we can return to this place of creation, this place of blessing, this place of gentle healing power at any time, in any moment, with the breath. We go forth into this day, every moment in our lives, being blessed and being a blessing. And so it is.
And now for our closing prayer, I picked a loving kindness prayer. I'm going to read it 3 times. It's like 4 lines in each time. So it'll be 12 lines altogether. First time I'm going to say it, I'm going to say, may I. And I want each of you to take it in as this, just take in the words for yourself. The second time I'm going to say it, I say, may you. I want you to take it into somebody you know. This could be somebody who's close to you, who you really love, or it could be someone that you know you may need to forgive, or, where you need some healing going on. Or a neutral person too, maybe somebody you saw on a walk or something. And then the third time I'm going to say it, I'm going to say, may we. And that is for the whole, it could be for the whole community, but it also can be for the whole world and all beings. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be safe from internal and external dangers. May I be well in body and mind. May I be at ease and happy. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be safe from internal and external dangers. May you be well in body and mind. May you be at ease and happy. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be safe from internal and external dangers. May we be well in body and mind. May we be at ease and happy. Amen.
We are so blessed here at Unity Center DC for extraordinary speakers, talented musicians who share with us each week their God gift, their message, their inspiration. And for us as recipients, I'd like you to take this moment and be grateful. If you want to express your gratitude by giving a gift to Unity Center DC, it's possible. We'll put up on the screen the options, but you can give online, you can mail a cash or a check to the address you'll see on the screen, so that we can continue this ministry, which has blessed us all. Thank you.